Meeting for the 19th of February 2025. Given that this meeting is being recorded and it is the first time our meeting is recorded, I will declare the meeting open, but will also read out our disclaimer, which is no responsibility whatsoever is implied or accepted by the Shire of Moora for any act, omission or statement or intimation occurring during this meeting. It is strongly advised that persons do not act on what is heard at this meeting and should only rely on written confirmation of Council's decision, which will be provided within 14 days of this meeting. All formal Council meetings will be audio-visually recorded and publicly available on the Shire of Moora website. 2. Attendance, apologies, approved leaves of absence. We have a full suite of councillors present. Plus, we have our CEO, our Executive Support Officer, and Mr. Travis Bates of RSM in Geraldton. There are no members of the public here, no public questions taken on notice, and no public question time. No petitions and no applications for leave of absence. Item 7, announcements by the presiding member. Councillor Seymour.
No, at this stage, thank you.
Councillor Duggan.
I've attended no meetings.
Excellent. Councillor Errington.
4th of February, CRC meeting. 12th of February, Chamber of Commerce meeting. 18th of February, the Chamber of Commerce Sundowner.
Thank you. Councillor Bryan. Hello. Councillor Gilbert.
February 18th, attended the Moora Men's Shed Sundowner.
Thank you. Councillor Lefroy. The 18th of December, the Audit Exit meeting. 21st of January, 6PR radio interview relating to renewable energy and its implications for the Shire of Moora and the Greater Wheatbelt. 23rd of January, Teams meeting with the RELA group, which is 5 local governments, regarding the Pylaw proposal from Walga. 26th of January, Australia Day breakfast and awards. 6th of February, meeting with Woodside Energy representatives with regard to carbon offsets and proposed projects for our region. 18th of February, met with Merrimy Beard, who is the Liberal Party candidate for the upcoming state election in our area. And to clarify, we, the Shire of Moora, have met with representatives from each of the major parties at their request to discuss upcoming election priorities for the Shire of Moora. Item 8 is confirmation of minutes. 8.1, recommendation being that the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 11th of December 2024 be confirmed as a true and correct record of the meeting, subject to adding the words excluding December, which is to be held on the second Wednesday, to point 2 of Resolution 107/24. Could I have a mover, please? Thanks, Councillor Gilbert, and a seconder. Thanks, Councillor Errington. Do you wish to speak for or against?
For.
Does anyone wish to speak against this recommendation? All those in favour? Thank you. Passed unanimously. Item 9, reports of officers. 9.1, governance and corporate services. 9.1.1, list of payments authorised under delegation 1.15. I will assume that the report has been read. Mr. CEO, do you have any comments that you wish to highlight for members?
No, Madam President, in accordance with the delegation, I commend these expenses to Council.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? All right. I will therefore put the officer recommendation that Council notes and endorses the payments from the municipal and trust funds are made under delegation 1.15. I refer the viewer to the Ordinary Council agenda for further information on this item. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Gilbert, and a seconder. Councillor Errington, thank you. Do you wish to speak for or against?
For.
Does anyone wish to speak against this motion? All those in favour? Okay, 9.1.2, Statement of Financial Activity for the period ended 31st of December 2024. The author is Travis Bates, Financial Accountant, RSM Australia. Mr. Bates, is there anything you would like to bring to the attention of Council?
I can give a brief overview of the financial report if you'd like.
Sure thing.
Just share my screen. Okay, so this is the statement of financial activity, which is page 29 of the agenda attachments. So that's the main part of the financial report, setting out the year-to-date operations. The pieces that I would note in relation to it, we've got a closing surplus to the end of December of 4,227,000. The opening surplus for the year was 4,932,000, which is now the final number for 30th of June 2024, now that the audit has been completed on those financial statements. So that opening surplus has reduced by 560,000 from what we had at the time the budget was adopted. Some of that was to do with movements in receivables. We had some increases in inventory because there was some land held for resale, which was reclassified from land owned by the Shire to inventory because it's being marketed for sale, which occurred from the end of the financial year, and movements in contract liabilities and payables. So we're in the process of the mid-year budget review at the moment, and that opening surplus difference will be part of what's taken into account in that budget review to ensure we remain in a balanced budget position for the year. Some of those issues are timing issues between when things are recognised for 2024 compared to 2025, but some of them may have an impact on the 2025 numbers flowing from that. The major variances, they're set out on page 39 of your agenda attachments in note 2. Just trying to get the balance right to be able to read the comments on the screen, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so that outlines all of the major variances between budget, year-to-date budget and year-to-date actual. Main ones to note out of that, on the revenue side, there's fees and charges. So there's some variances there related to the timing of when some of those fees and charges are raised. The grants, so there's some variances there on the operating grants and the capital grants, which are outlined in note 12, which give the detail in relation to those. So it relates to the timing of when some of those things come in compared to the budget. And on the expenditure side, most of the variances that have been noted are related to timing issues. And again, when the budget review comes to next month's council meeting, we'll make sure that any of those variances are addressed through that process. Just the other part that I would look at is the capital acquisitions, which are outlined in note 9, which starts on page 45 of your agenda attachments. And noting there, we've got, sorry. Under the land and buildings, noting early childhood development centre, that's coming to the end of December at 2,270,000 against the full year budget of the 2 million. And then the other major one is the housing. So we've got 642,000 of year-to-date expenditure to the end of December out of the $1 million budget for that one.
Yep.
The plant and equipment side of it. Sorry, I'll keep jumping to the wrong pages here for some reason. Plant and equipment. So we've had 1,269,000 of expenditure year to date. One of the things we've identified is the budgets on some of these items, like this tip truck. The budget was set based on the net changeover cost rather than the 378,000 being the purchase price of the new one. And then there's trade-in, so the funds come back from it. So it looks like we've gone over budget in the note, but the net effect of it still came out in line with budget. It's just that the budget was on a net figure. So we'll sort that out when we do the budget review as well. And then the last part of the capital sets out the infrastructure with the roads and major expenditures in that portion relate to the Wheatbelt secondary freight network with the projects that we've got there. So, yeah, that's the major parts of the financial report that I draw attention to, but happy to take any questions that you might have in relation to that report.
Thanks very much. And thank you for the volume of work that goes into that report. Has anyone got any questions? Well, good, excellent. If there are no questions, the officer recommendation is that council endorses the statement of financial activity for the period ending 31st of December 2024. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Errington, and a seconder, Councillor Bryan. Thank you. Do you wish to speak for or against? Or does anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? Thank you. All those in favour? Unanimous. 9.2 are development services. There are no reports. 9.3 engineering services, no reports. Item 10 is reports of committees and the audit committee meeting, which was held earlier today on the 19th of February, compliance and audit return for 2024. Obviously, there's been extensive discussion regarding this in the audit committee meeting. But I will throw to Mr. Travis Bates to ask, have you got any questions or comments, and to Mr. CEO Gavin Robbins to see if they've got any additional comments.
I haven't got anything further than what was covered in the audit committee meeting.
Thank you.
I don't have anything that was not covered in the audit committee meeting, other than to say that the acceptance of this report satisfies a statutory requirement for us to provide government with an assurance that we've complied with the audit requirements set out by government in respect of all those compulsory things that have a place in the legislation.
Thank you. Are there any questions from around the table? Okay. Smooth sailing. Committee recommendation is, let me just find it. My apologies. Council resolution is that Council adopts the 2024 compliance audit return for the period 1st of January 2024 to the 31st of December 2024 and forward with duly signed joint certification by the President and Chief Executive Officer to the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries. Could I have a mover for that recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Gilbert, and a seconder, Councillor Clydesdale-Gilbert. Do you wish to speak for or against? Excellent. Does anyone wish to speak against that motion? Or, sorry, the committee recommendation? All those in favour? Thank you. Passed unanimously. 10.2 is the annual financial report and independent audit report for the year ending 30th of June. The authors of this report are Gavin Robbins, CEO, and Travis Bate, RSM Australia. Mr. Bate or Mr. Robbins, do you have any questions or comments that you'd like to bring to our attention?
I had nothing further than what was covered in the audit committee. Thank you.
I don't either.
Therefore, we will go to the council resolution from the committee recommendation is that 1, we receive the audited and signed annual financial report for the period ended 30th of June 2024. And 2, notes that a report on the significant audit matters will be prepared and presented to the 20th of March 2025 audit committee meeting. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Bryan, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Gilbert. Do you wish to speak for or against? Does anyone wish to speak against that resolution? All those in favour? Thank you. Passed unanimously. Item 11 is elected member motions of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Item 12, new business of an urgent nature, introduced by decision of council. Nil, and matters for which the meeting may be closed.
No.
14, closure of meeting. There being no further business, the Shire of Moora Ordinary Council meeting is closed at 5:53 p.m. Thank you everyone for your attendance.